Max Verstappen experienced a turbulent weekend at the Miami Grand Prix, and it had significant internal consequences within the Austrian team's structure. Helmut Marko, one of Red Bull's most influential figures, stated that doubts surrounding the Dutch driver's future with the team remain. Behind the scenes in Formula One, both Mercedes and Aston Martin are closely monitoring the situation, each with highly competitive offers ready to be presented. The big question is whether Red Bull will be able to prevent Verstappen from choosing a new path. Although none of this is being revealed to the general public, there's a lot of internal movement, and crucial decisions are being discussed behind closed doors. Verstappen's performance in Miami certainly didn't help calm things down. He left the track visibly upset with the car's performance and the recurring brake issues presented by the RB21 model. During the race, he made uncharacteristic mistakes in the first corner, something rare for a driver of his caliber. If the updates scheduled for Emilia do not have an immediate impact, there's a strong possibility that these difficulties will persist in the upcoming rounds. Speaking about his frustration after the race, Max was blunt. "It was far below what we expected. I knew the chances for a good result were minimal. I took a chance against the McLarens because, honestly, there wasn't much to lose at that point. It was more about trying to enjoy what was left of the race. But beyond that, there was nothing more I could do. Even with the possibility of a virtual safety car, the result wouldn't have changed much. Finishing third or fourth didn't make a difference in that context. The braking system has been a constant weakness, and we need to fix it urgently." He also explained that whenever he tried to push harder, the tires would quickly overheat, making any attempt to recover impossible. At a certain point, he chose to just keep the gap within 5 seconds, as if he were simply waiting for the race to end so he could go home. One of the most relevant aspects of this entire situation is the contractual clause that could allow Verstappen to leave the team at the end of the season. This clause could be triggered if Red Bull fails to be among the top 2 or 3 teams in the overall championship standing. According to recent statements by Helmut Marko, this will be a heavily debated topic during the summer break, and he himself acknowledges that the possibility of Max leaving is real and shouldn't be dismissed. According to him, performance improvements must be implemented immediately, as Verstappen demands a car capable of competing for the title. The Austrian was emphatic in saying the team is falling behind. Even with all the teams and the drivers' efforts, the gap to their direct rivals reached approximately 0.7 of a second per lap, which reveals a worrying loss of competitiveness. The true speed of the McLaren cars has finally been exposed, and it caused some concern within Red Bull. The issue is that, according to the team's own engineers, the new upgrade package will hardly be able to neutralize the full technical advantage that the MCL39 model has been showing. Helmut Marko was asked directly about this possibility, and his response was clear. "It has to be enough, but the challenge is enormous. The performance leap required is very substantial." In this scenario, Verstappen continues to deliver surprising results, placing the car in positions it technically shouldn't be in, starting from the front row and still fighting for victories. However, with McLaren's growing strength, the probability increases that both of their drivers will start battling exclusively against each other for the lead. Verstappen is still in the fight, but everything will depend on the upcoming updates and also the strict inspection in Barcelona regarding the front wing's flexibility, which could shift the competitive balance. If the current situation continues and Verstappen decides to leave the team, several alternatives begin to appear on the horizon. Mercedes stands out as one of the most solid options, offering structure, a winning legacy, and a new engine project for 2026. Toto Wolff, head of the German team, has previously stated that he would like to have Max in the future, especially after missing the chance to sign him in the past. The possibility of pairing Andrea Kimi Antonelli and Verstappen is extremely appealing, but it would directly affect George Russell's future. Sources close to the situation suggest that Russell may have approached Christian Horner to understand Red Bull's future steps, in case Mercedes undergoes a lineup restructuring. Meanwhile, Red Bull's executive director Oliver Mintzlaff also publicly addressed the topic. He stated that Verstappen still has commitments with the team, and that, despite the current rough patch, everyone within the organization is working hard to turn things around. He also said that Max recently reaffirmed his intention to remain with the Austrian team, reminding everyone that his contract runs through the end of 2028. In a recent conversation, Max allegedly said that he began his journey with Red Bull and would like to end his career there as well. Minslav emphasized that the Dutch driver is considered the best in the world today, but also owes a part of his rise to Red Bull, which provided the necessary structure for him to become a world champion. Despite these statements, it's impossible to ignore that Aston Martin remains firmly in the race. The team, based in Silverstone, is building an extremely ambitious project for 2026. Adrian Newey, considered one of the greatest car designers in Formula One history, is fully focused on the vehicle for that future season and has no interest in dealing with the current year's difficulties. In addition, Honda has already announced that it will play a fundamental role in selecting the team's drivers. While Verstappen doesn't seem driven purely by money, the speculated figures are impressive. A 3-year contract worth $300 million would make Max the highest-paid athlete in the world, surpassing even major stars from other sports. More importantly, he would have an extremely competitive car at his disposal. Juan Pablo Montoya, a former driver and a deep connoisseur of the Formula One environment, recently stated that he believes the agreement between Max and Aston Martin is practically sealed. According to Montoya, there are 2 possible paths for Verstappen. The first would be to seek a team that allows him to fight for titles right away, such as Mercedes. The second would be to accept a massive offer from Aston Martin, where he could earn a lot of money and still have a reasonable chance of winning. If he wants to win, he will do everything to go to Mercedes. But if the priority is financial stability and a fair chance of competitiveness, then Aston Martin is likely his pick, Montoya said. The big lingering question is, after so many achievements, would Verstappen really be willing to break with Red Bull? Everything indicates that the possibility exists, but it's not a simple decision. Initially, Helmut Marko seemed pessimistic about the driver staying, but recently, he has changed his tone. The veteran Austrian now believes Max is committed to the team and sees no sign that he's considering a move. There were concerns, yes, but they have diminished significantly. Max has shown loyalty and reaffirmed his commitment to Red Bull. From where I stand, he is completely focused on his work here. So, honestly, I don't think he's thinking about leaving. On the contrary, I'm convinced Max will remain with us in 2026, he concluded. Even before the start of the current season, there was a meeting among all the key members of the team, including Verstappen, to align expectations for 2025. Everyone agreed that defending the title would be the main objective. However, the circumstances have shown that the difficulties are greater than anticipated. No one can guarantee victories, no matter how hard the team tries. The only certainty is that every point will be crucial. That's why staying focused and calm amid so much change is vital. And most importantly, this whole situation must be followed with great care, as Helmut Marko's statements tend to shift frequently. Even with the promises that Max will stay, it's impossible to ignore the driver's complaints and frustrations with the car, which may ultimately influence his final decision. To complete the picture, there is still ongoing tension between Jos Verstappen and Christian Horner. The two have yet to find common ground, and Horner maintains a firm stance that no driver is bigger than the team. But given everything that's happening, Max may be demanding a more central role in the project, especially since he continues to put the car in a position to win, even when its performance is behind that of McLaren and occasionally behind Mercedes. With all of this in mind, do you think Max Verstappen will leave Red Bull at the end of the 2025 season? And if so, which team do you believe is best positioned to sign him? Share your opinion in the comment. And after that, don't forget to click the video that's now appearing on your screen.